there, my name's John Simmers. I'm a professional violin and bowmaker, coming to you today from the beautiful Halsey Manor in Somerset, England. I'm here with the British Violin Makers Association doing a combined workshop with violin and bowmakers. As a professional violin and bowmaker, I do try and keep my skills current, and I attend professional development workshops in the States and Europe, probably on average once a year or so. This one here, we're making bows. We're doing a group project. We're making a Tubbs model viola bow of sorts. As a bit of a study project, I made the adjuster, the button for that one. And I'm also making a number of bows myself. I've just finished a cello bow, which I completely made here last week. Finished it off today. And I've started a couple of violin bow sticks. I'm going to give you a bit of a sneak peek into the workshop while it's empty, so you can see what the setup is and how this type of thing operates. I also want to touch briefly on something that I came across recently. It is relating to the violin trade in Australia and other parts of the world, and the people that are in the trade operating basically as amateurs without proper professional training. Since it's such a beautiful place, I thought I'd give you a quick tour. This is Halsey Manor, spelt Halsway, but pronounced Halsey. It is the National Centre for Folk Arts in the United Kingdom. It's been here for about 60 years, I've been told. This is the main building ahead of us. On the left-hand side is where our workshop is set up. There's accommodation upstairs, main entrance straight ahead. Beautiful grounds, beautiful surroundings. The weather's not too bad today. Over here is the Muse. It's another building. It's got more accommodation. That's where my room is. And there's another workshop in there. This year they are doing a varnishing course in there. And last year in that same room I was making bows. This is the main building. On the right hand side is the oldest part of the building. You can tell the stonework is actually a little bit different. I believe that dates back to about the 13th century. I could be wrong. I'll check up my notes and put something in the video. Then as we come around to the left, you can see the stonework is different. It's newer. So that's the second stage of the building, and then the final stage is on the left here. In the distance you can actually hear the steam train, which operates between Minehead and Taunton, I believe. Everyone's at lunch at the moment, so it's nice and quiet. This is the bar area, very popular in the evenings. Staircase to the accommodation upstairs. And this is our workshop, set up just for this 2-week general workshop. Violin makers on this end. Restoration going on there. And lots of bow makers, actually outnumbering the violin makers this time around, which is kind of unusual. It's all our benches. Various lathes and machines set up, and up the top there is my bench, sharing that with someone else. Got the best view in the house, can't complain. Bit of a mess at the moment, but I'm getting lots of work done. In the middle of the 2-week workshop, since it's quite a long period, we decided to take half a day off in the middle weekend, and some of us headed down to the West Somerset Railway. They run a number of beautifully restored old steam locos between Taunton and Minehead, so we had a really nice trip on there. I'd like to talk about something that was shared with me recently. It was a post on an instrument repair and restoration Facebook group, something that I wasn't a member of, but it was forwarded to me. They were actually asking for advice on some pretty basic repair work that was cleaning an instrument. Basically, anyone who's competent and knowledgeable should have been able to handle this. And this person was had photos of the instrument in question and the areas that needed cleaning, and was asking questions about how to go about it. Now, there's a couple of interesting things about that. One is anyone with good training should have known how to do it. It was a pretty basic job, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff that we do every day. The other thing that was really interesting, and I've touched on this in a previous video, I believe, was there were about 60, last time I looked, 60 replies to that post, most of which were offering absolutely abysmal advice. Stuff that you just shouldn't do, would have ruined the instrument, really dangerous. And there are a couple of people who offered some fairly sound advice. But the issue is, if you don't have training and experience, if you're not knowledgeable about your craft, how do you know, if you do ask questions like that, especially on a public forum, how do you know who's offering good advice and who's offering advice that's actually likely to damage the instrument, which is what was happening in this particular situation? There were a couple of people who said exactly what I was thinking. I certainly wasn't going to make a reply on the post, but a couple of people said, take it to a professional. One person, who I believe is actually quite knowledgeable, said, take it to a professional. Another person said, if you have to ask this question, you shouldn't be doing the job. And I totally agree with those sentiments. But the really frustrating thing is this person is basically an amateur, self-taught, might have had a little bit of help from someone, working for dealers and putting themselves out there as a professional, and they're just not. So again, I call upon all of you musicians and teachers, look closely at who you're supporting. Look closely at the people who are doing the work on your instrument and bow. Make sure they're qualified, trained, experienced, members of a professional body. Ask for qualifications and experience, and maybe even, if you're not sure, check their bona fides. It's really important. Only in this way are we going to stop people ruining instruments and amateurs taking on professional work and charging money for it. And also, until this changes and stops, we're not going to see people go to study and train as a violin maker or a bow maker or restorer or repairer. Here I am in the UK. Probably cost me $5,000 or $6,000 to get myself here, with airfares, the cost of the accommodation here, the BVMA's charge to run the course. It's really expensive, but it's an important part of my education. It's an important part of being professional, to keep current, work with really good people, become the best you can be. We're charging money, we're putting ourselves out as professional. It's up to us to make sure that we're qualified, make sure we're up to date with our skills, go as far as we can, doing great work. That's the way it should be done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you've got any friends who you think might be interested in this content, please go ahead and share it with them. It'd be much appreciated. It's New Year's Eve today, so I wish you all a really great 2026. I'm going to add a short video of a violin I just finished varnishing after this. Hopefully that's interesting for you, and we'll see you here next time.